today's discussion with Dr. B. Yeram Raju Garu. Dr. Yeram Raju is a multifaceted personality, a career banker, an academician, an author, and also, in a way, an entrepreneur. I had the first opportunity to meet Dr. Raju Garu at the Administrative Staff College of India, a very prestigious organization at that time. He was the dean of the faculty there. There were well-known people like Dr. Narasimham, Dr. Y.R.K. Reddy, and the institute was bubbling with a lot of activity. And Dr. Raju's group was involved in studies on agriculture, on rural development, in various issues. For me, as a journalist with the Hindu business line, Administrative Staff College of India was a good source of stories. I would often go there and report on groups, studies, and especially work done by Dr. Raju's group. My association with Dr. Yeram Raju Garu grew sometime during 2006 to 2010. That was the time when the Hindu business line launched what was known as the Business Line Club. The purpose of the club was to do outreach programs to B schools in and around Hyderabad and also in Telangana. We took experts from the industry and had interactions with students. At that point of time, one of our flagship programs was the Union Budget, and we had many events done. In one of the events where we had to go to Gulbarga, I especially recall, we had asked Dr. Yeram Raju Garu to come with us. We went there, and it was a large gathering of nearly 500 students from various B schools in the city of Gulbarga in Karnataka. To our very good fortune, we realized that the audience really appreciated the entire program, primarily because Dr. Raju Garu gave an overview of the Union Budget in very simple and lucid language which the B school students could understand. Sometime in October, I suddenly got a call saying that I am finishing my autobiography. It was quite a surprise that he had utilized his time so well. A journey starting from the temple town of Tirupati to the Hyderabad, across the globe, across sectors, across personalities, all that he captured in 2 volumes from roots to fruits. I am really privileged and delighted to introduce such a versatile personality and also get some insights into his journey and his learnings. First of all, congratulations Dr. Yeram Raju Garu for this work. I am sure that it will be a referral volume. It will be useful to students, to academics, to practicing bankers also. Please tell me, what is the motivation for you to write this book? Not many people would be excited to perhaps read something serious during these times of social media, where our attention spans are low. You have produced a really solid, serious work. So what is the main provocation or motivation for you to do this?
Thank you, Mr. Somsekhar, for having taken time to be with me and also interview me on this important day. The provocation was twofold. Actually, presently you would notice in the banking sector, whenever you go to a bank, you will find only machines. And the people who are at the counters, they are used to looking more at the machines than at the customers who are standing outside. And this has actually been responsible for me to see how the banking was in the past and how it transformed to the present and what it holds for the future. While on this, there is another provocation that was one of my earlier colleagues who retired as a managing director of the AP State Cooperative Bank, one Mr. Jagan Mohan, he was grilling me to the hilt for the past nearly 4 years
Okay.
to write my memoirs on banking because the banking is going adrift. He thought that at least some people like me who have seen 3 generations of banking to put forward what exactly is banking. I have seen pre-nationalization, I have seen post-nationalization, I have seen post-liberalization, and now post-digitalization. So, in these various stages of banking, what is happening to the customer, what is happening to banking at large, are the people really getting the benefit from the banking sector, and why so many people are, hooked with this sector. So he was insistent that I should write down my experiences and lots of stories to go along into the whole journey, because it's not a small journey. Because I must say, I spent 28 years with the bank and I spent 28 years outside the bank as a career. So this is something unique.
Very unique. Yeah.
Very unique, you will realize. I myself did not know until I put down my autobiography
Sure.
that I was dividing half to half, and still, I am not getting tired of reading or writing. So this is one important feature that I thought I should mention at this point. Here I have started my journey virtually not as a banker, I must say. As you rightly said, starting my journey in Tirupati. Yes, Tirupati is one landmark only.
As a banker for so many years and seeing the banking industry from outside, what do you think is the present situation in banking? We as customers have lost trust, and banking industry itself seems to be in a lot of mistrust. So please give a few of your thoughts on that.
See, the good old days of banking, I can narrate you one instance. When we joined as probationers and then we became field officers, those days, Imperial Bank of India, legatee was State Bank of India. And so still the positions were called as agents, because Imperial Bank of India used to call agent of Imperial Bank of India, because they were agents for the government, British government. Whereas after independence, we have not still changed it to management. We still remained as agent at that point of time. Then the agent used to take us along to teach us banking. And in one of those joints, and we have given, then he said, "How are you fixing the repayment program?" Because we were thinking that we would fix monthly installments. He said, "No. No? When do they get money? They get money when they sell the parts. When do they sell the parts? They sell in summer. When do they invest? They invest in winter and rainy season. So you better give money when they need it, take money when they have it." You show me one single banker who utters this sentence to me. Show me one single banker. Give money when they want, take money when they have it. And I never forget this. And at that point of time, after the installments were fixed, people were at askance whether the loans will get repaid or not. This 4,000 rupees loan was getting repaid or not from 20 people. Mind you, it was not recovery, it was repayment. They paid promptly the loan, coming all in queue on the set dates after the sale of their parts was over. In summer season, they paid back the money. Then Nair called us, all of us, into the banking hall and said, "Look, these are the people to be trusted. Never distrust a small man. Finance a small farmer, finance a small industrialist, finance a small man. You will get back your money." That is the lesson he has taught us.
So there's no trust.
That is trust. So today, where do you find that? In fact, for everything you want big documentation. I must tell you, since you are a very senior journalist, what a journalist can contribute to banking, I must tell you in this long journey. That should interest you. You must be knowing your old friend, Mr. V. Hanumantarao.
Yes, data means Richards.
Yeah. In fact, he wrote in his own memoirs this event. You know, the State Bank of India was inaugurating the staff college here in Begumpet. The Union Finance Minister was the chief guest. So with great difficulty, local people have made sure that the photo of inauguration comes on the front page of Deccan Chronicle, the very prominent daily in those days. You know, daily for Telangana and Hyderabad means it was only Deccan Chronicle in those days. So I'm talking, some 4.5 decades back, nearly 5 decades back. So that day, as it happened, previous day, we were doing a village camp for canvassing loans to the farmers. And the farmers were being, interviewed. We went to the village. We had a set of documents. We were getting them signed. He started with us at 6 o'clock in the early morning. And till about 4 o'clock, we were taking on signatures. So he was inquisitive. At 1 o'clock, he took one document, went to a person, went to a farmer, asked him how many times he have signed on the document. He said, I don't know. They asked me to sign on the documents, I have signed. Then he counted. They were 400 in number. And so he asked the farmer how much loan you are wanting to pay. 100 rupees crop loan. How much farm land you have got? I got half an acre of land. So for half an acre of land, 100 rupees crop loan, you are signing 400 times. So he went back and flashed a small item as VNI correspondent. For 100 rupee loan, State Bank of India Agricultural Development Branch takes 400 signatures. And this became a box item everywhere in the country. Whether it is Caravan Journal, whether it is Blitz, whether it is Filmfare, you will find this block item everywhere, and this block item appeared just below the photograph of the inauguration that they have taken. And this really unnerved, and they summoned me next day to Hyderabad, almost calling for explanation as to why I gave the press statement. I said, I did not give press statement. The pressman came with me and he counted, he took the statement. I do not know that the item has appeared also, because in Vizag we used to get daily only at 1 p.m. in those days. Hindu used to come at 1 p.m. Indian Express used to come at 1:15 p.m. It was like that. So he said, I did not see. Then chairman wants to talk to you, so you please take the immediate flight. The only flight from Vizag at 12:15. They rang me up in the very early morning. All calls came from our regional manager, everybody under the sun. And I travelled. Net result was, to make the long story short, the chairman asked me to constitute a committee with Chitale and Co., who was our legal solicitors from Chennai, and with development manager agriculture, also one of the members, central office, asked me to sit in central office for 1 week, reformulate the documents, make them simple, and see that entire loaning is done without sacrificing legal obligations.
Could you tell us who are the people who inspired you or motivated you in their career? Some names of bankers, of teachers, or professionals.
I must say I am very fortunate to have had the best of teachers in the university. To tell you, Rayapur Subrao, Ingal Lakshmikant in Telugu, M.B. Ram Sharma in English, and Divakala, Ramamurthy Garu, brother of Divakala Venkatadani in Nisseven College. Like this, we had excellent teachers. Shortest tenure teacher was Mr. B. N. Yugandhar, who became father of Satya Nadella, you must be knowing. Yugandhar was the last teacher. For a short time he was a teacher, he left thereafter. Then, among the inspirers, I would say, Mr. B. K. Rao, he was district collector at that time. He said in democracy, incentives and punishments must go together. Otherwise, that Raju, these things will not work. He told me at a later stage when he became secretary here. The other interesting personality, inspiring personality, I would say, is Mr. K. R. Venugopal. He was, he retired as chairman of the National Human Rights Commission, and he was also in the Prime Minister's Secretariat.
P.V.
Narasimha's time. And he was the person who was also instrumental in introducing Setwin in Hyderabad. He was also instrumental in introducing the PDF public distribution system during N.T. Ramarao's regime. So this was, he is another person with whom I happened to work very closely. Other person with whom I had very good interaction, who has motivated me most, is Dr. M.S. Swaminathan, with whom I had the privilege to work on a committee, in the 6th Indian National Congress, Indian Scientific Congress. Dr. Abdul Kalam has announced a committee, that is PURA, providing urban amenities for rural areas. PURA. And there, I was also made the member of the committee. Chairman of the committee was Dr. M.S. Swaminathan. So we happened to work together for a few months. That's where I could know the way in which policy makers look at a particular policy and how it could be grounded. It is not enough if a policy is formulated. The policy must again get grounded, and that must have validation by way of certain examples. So this is what we thought that we provide in the report, and we had provided that. Similarly, among the bankers, I must say, I was excellently inspired by none other than M. Narasimhan Garu, chairman of SK, and Dr. Vaidi Reddy, Dr. Duvuri Subbarao. These were all three governors. Then Dr. C. Rangarajan, Dr. Bimal Jalan. These are all people who made institutions, who made regulations at a difficult time, and they were able to carry their ideas through and made the policy administrators see wisdom in doing something different. This is where banking has taken different strides. All these people have contributed to banking. If financial inclusion is talked of today, it is because of Rangarajan's report and Vaidi Reddy's implementation. And if inflation is attacked headlong, it is again people talk of Subbarao. And though he did not get a good name, but people still say that he is the man who he wrote a book, Who Moved My Interest Rates.
But we had a running sort of a battle with the finance minister, P. Chidambaram, which was in public domain.
Yes.
Anyway, coming to the tough challenges you faced, what would you consider as your most difficult moment in your career?
Yeah. The most difficult moment I consider is sticking to values. In a ocean of vice, sticking to a rules of virtue is very, very difficult. But still, because of the background I had of the family and the sternness I had, a non-sacrificing nature insofar as principles are concerned, I stuck to them. And
From your life and your experience, what are the things, what are the learnings, that you would like to share for future generations so far, you have experienced?
for the youth, I have one lesson to share. It was very difficult for me to choose my career because I got 3 interview calls on one single day, one with a research institution, one with a banking institution, the other with the Indian Public Service Commission for the Indian Police Service. And when I asked my father, which do you want me to choose? He said, to make you eligible for these interviews is my job. Beyond this, it is your job. So the choice became very difficult. But then I thought I will attend all the 3 interviews because after all, when the people called for interview, they will at least pay the fares. So I thought I can visit Delhi at the expense of the government. I went and faced the at least 2 interviews in Delhi. One interview in Hyderabad. Banking interview was held in Hyderabad. And when the choices are kept like this, what should govern the youth? Youth should be governed by, number 1, his own cultural moorings, the expectations of his own parents as to what they would like to see in their sons or daughters, whether they can fulfill them during their lifetime. And the third thing is whether there is a self-actualization when a job is taken.
Okay.
It is not that it should be thrust on you. This is one lesson I would hold for the younger generation. For example, even setting up this institution of which you spoke in the introduction, Telangana Industrial Health Clinic Limited, the idea was incubating for 20 years. I waited patiently for 20 years because I wanted a politician like KTR to really pick it up. Because any excellent policy you have, the policy in democracy can be reaching the masses only through the medium of a politician. This is one thing that is another lesson that I have learned. Though I learned it at the age of 75. The point is that God was kind to me to learn the lesson at 75. But then the lesson was well learned, and I was very lucky that I could build an institution at the age of 75. I could become an entrepreneur at 75, where everybody thinks that you can only be a mentor. And my most interesting areas are agriculture, MSME sector, micro, small, medium enterprise sector, which is at my heart, and governance. Why I value governance? It is the whole crux that, I would say, it is the mat on which everything rests in the country. If governance is poor, whatever best policy you have, it will, rock the system. So it is important that we should have very good governance, to have very good policies, and to have an excellent environment and build an excellent ecosystem.
What is the learning? Could you explain?
2 questions I have put. One is why 2 parts? Because up to 60, my career was alternating between banking and academics. I went to LBS National Academy on Reputation. I would say the only banker to go and teach the IAS for a couple of years. And till date again, nobody else has gone from either SBI or from any other bank to the LBS Academy to teach IAS. At least I am not aware of. The second one, I would say that there are alternations in academics also. Administrative Staff College of India is one. From there I went to Indian Institute of Public Enterprise as director and head of the institution. From there Indian Institute of Economics as director. So I headed the institutions after my retirement.
Okay.
This is something that is. So I thought that up to 60 I should divide my career because this is mostly banking. This is the journey of a development banker. Whereas after 60, it is journey into policies. I have been fortunate enough to be requested by a number of institutions like the UNIDO, UNCTAD, World Trade Organization, Asian Development Bank. All these institutions have enlisted me as their short-term consultant, and I went through both national and global policies. I was able to give the consulting reports where I did not make any compromises, and all my consulting reports have been implemented. It is one of the things I can say with some amount of confidence and pride that all the content reports have been implemented. And of all, I would say my most challenging consulting assignment is with Ministry of Shipping and Transport. It's altogether, you will not find banking there, you will not find administration there, you will not find anything there. You will find a lot of conflicting situations between the labor and the port authorities, between the port authorities and other ports in the world. So many conflicting situations are there. That is one area where I have done a very good consulting assignment. And where 4 reports have been put in cupboards earlier, my report was turned into a GO within 1 week of the delivery of the report.
Thank you very much, Dr. Iram Raju. That was a peek into a journey of 8 decades of different facets, different areas, different locations, different experiences. I am sure once you read the autobiography, you will find many anecdotes, many interesting aspects of a person who's traversed many paths, gained a lot of experiences, and shared them well. Thank you very much, Dr. Iram.
This book is dedicated to my wife and children for the simple reason they allowed me to spend all my time with my profession, with writing, with doing whatever I wanted to do for the pleasures of life.